Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So my boss has given me a task like this. My boss wants me to do a sort of lookup from the spreadsheet. My boss wants me to. My boss has given me like what my boss wants to see basically is he wants to see from each of the branches. He wants, for example, if I go to Bromley, he wants to see the sales in 2017 when it toggles it. He wants to see the sales in 2018 when it toggles it. He wants to see the sales in 2024 when it toggles it. He wants me to do like a lookup or sort of whatever. He doesn't care how I want to achieve this. All he wants is giving me the task to do in 2 minutes. And I've thought about it. Come on, think about it. I've got two functions to do this. Let's get into it. So I'll be doing this. I'll be doing this function with two. I'll be doing it in two ways. One, I'll be using the IndexMatch to do it, and I'll be using the Xlookup to do it. So this can be done using the IndexMatch or the Xlookup. So basically, we have our branch, which are these the list of branches, and we also have the years, which are horizontally, and we have the branches vertically. So with the index match, you can do like a horizontal and a vertical lookup. Similarly, with the XLOOKUP can do an horizontal and a vertical lookup. So that's one of the advantage of using an XLOOKUP and an index match. So, but this the VLOOKUP cannot do. The VLOOKUP cannot do an horizontal and a vertical lookup, but can only do like a vertical lookup. So, but the index lookup and the index match will do this. So let's get into this. Now, I've done something here which is like a data validation. So if you don't know how to do it with data validation, I could just quickly show you one of it, which basically is come into data and then go to data validation, click on validation, and then you'd see what I've done. So I could just take this off. I could just clear what I've done. And basically what I've sort of done is clicked on this, dragged it down to the point where I want it to be, then click OK. And I've got my list of branches coming up. So I've done the same thing over here. So similarly, I've done that for the horizontal years of sales. So now we want to know what our revenue is up to just in 2021 alone, or it could be 2022. So all I need to do basically is just say equals index. I'm going to use the index function first. So it says the array. So the array is basically the results. What do I want to bring out as the result? So the array is going to be, since I want to look at the result, I'm going to be looking at all my sales data, which start from 2017 down to 2024. That's my result. I want to lock that in using this function on F4. I want to do like an absolute referencing because I won't want that to move, because if I'm dragging the formula down, then it means it could keep moving. So I wouldn't want that. So then now the next item on the list is, it says the row number. I don't have an idea what the row number is. So I need to bring in like a match or an X match something. So I could use X match to do it, and I could use the match, but let me go backward a bit and use the match function to do it. So I'll use the match. So the match then says the lookup value. So what's the lookup value? I'm basically looking for the branch, which is Aberdeen in this case. So if I'm looking for the branch, which is Aberdeen, I could just click on the branch and then also put an absolute reference into function F4, because I wouldn't want that to move. Then I'll put a comma. Then what is the lookup array? The lookup array here is the branch, the list of the branches. That's the lookup array. I also put what an function on F4, so absolute reference it, so I don't want it to move forward. Then I'm going to do close. Then what kind of match do I want? Do I want a less than, an exact match, or a greater than match? I want an exact match, so I'm going to put in 0 here, and that's all. I close my bracket. Then they have another one which is called the column number. So because I'm looking at it both vertically and horizontally, I'm trying to look at it both in the, I wanted to recognize the dates, the years, 2017, 2018, 2019 to 2024. I don't know where the sales has occurred in that I want to look out for. And I'm also trying to look at it, tying it back to the branch. So I'm doing like a two-way match lookup. So I need to specify the column too. So which are these individual columns, like column B, column C, column D. I need to specify which of the column exactly in the date I want it to return back to me. So in that case, I have to put in a comma here and then bring in another match function. So I could do match. So then what is asking me to bring in the same thing, like lookup value, lookup array, and sort of so. So I'll be clicking on this time around the date. I'll be putting an absolute reference in there. I'll put in a comma. Then I'm going to be doing what? I'll be looking at the array. So So the dates array starts from 2017 down to 2024. That's what I want. I also want to absolutely reference this. I don't want this to move. I don't want to mess up with my data. So, and I'm going to put a comma, and then I also want an exact match. I like to just close this and just hit the enter button. And then it says, do I want to close and add more brackets to the ending? Yes. So that's 8,322 for 2021. So if you have a look at 2021, what is it? 2021 under what Aberdeen? Let me look for Aberdeen from my list. This is Aberdeen in 2021. The sales is 8,003 to 1.67. This has approximated to 322. I could take off the approximation by coming to my home tab and just clicking on under the number, and I'll go to decimal point. I just need to do is increase the decimal points, and that's it. I've gotten back what they have there. So that's how to do using the index match. So I'll speed up to the Xlookup. Similarly, using the Xlookup, I could do like a two-way match lookup. I'll just say equals Xlookup. Then what's the lookup value? The lookup value here is still Aberdeen. I want to close that. I don't want to mess up with my data, so I want to put all in absolute referencing. Then I'll be doing what's the lookup array? The lookup array is basically the lookup array for Aberdeen, which is the list of branches. So then what's the lookup array? The lookup array is basically what the branches which are these. I'm going to just take it down. Then I'm going to do an absolute referencing function F4 or F4. It depends on the system you use, and put a comma. And at this point, what is the return array? I won't be giving a return array, because if I put in a return array, it won't give me what I want to do. So at the point of the return array, I'm going to have to just put in more function. So I'm going to now put in another function which is called Xlookup again. So I'll say Xlookup. If I go to Xlookup, it's going to ask me again for the lookup array, because I still need to return back the horizontal part of it. Instead of me doing VLOOKUP and then doing HLOOKUP, I'm doing Xlookup at once to solve this all. So I'm just going to say the 2021, which is the date, the in-year date I want to see. And I'm going to now put in function. I'm going to put a function and F4 to give me an absolute reference. And then what's the lookup array for this? I'm going to put a comma and then look up my lookup array, which is from 2017 down to 2024. That's my lookup array that I want. So I'm going to also do the same thing, F4, to lock this. Then what do I want to return? At this point, I could specify, because I'm not putting in more functions. So let's assume I'm looking for something else, maybe something else in horizontal, something else vertically. I could still go and put Xlookup again before putting in my return array. So because I'm done, I've basically seen what I want to see. I've looked at my branch and I've looked at my date. So I just need to bring in what I want to return. So what am I returning? I'm basically returning all these. These are the results I want to see at the end of it all. So I'm going to bring, which is the sales data, the sales figures for each of the years, and covering each of the branches. I basically want to log this in an F4, because I don't want this to start spilling down when I'm done. And I'll put a comma, then it asks me, if not found, what does it want? Well, I could ignore this and I could bring it in. So because it's in the square bracket, which means I could ignore it. But I don't want to ignore it because I want an exact match. So, and I also want to say if it's not found, to return something, or I could just put in, if not found, just give me a blank, which is quotes. That's quotation mark and quotation mark. I'll just return two quotation marks to give me a blank. Then I'll put in a comma. Do I want an exact match? Yes. Do I want an exact match? Yes. Do I want first to last? I could ignore that because I don't want to do maybe first to last or last to first. I'll just close the brackets and then hit enter. Then I've got the same thing. I've got 8,322, which means it's recognized that value for me. So which means it recognized that for me. I'm going to log this in the currency format to bring out the currency format for me. So it's recognized that as 8,000. So if I go and toggle this, if I change this from Aberdeen to, let's say, Leeds, and in 2021, Leeds in 2021, that's going to give me 10,038. That's correct. If I change this Xlookup to, let's say, I go to Nottingham in let's say 2024. I want to say Nottingham 2024, which is Nottingham 2024, which is 19,503. I go back to change this to, let's say, Edinburgh in 2020, let's say 2019. It's going to give me 13,865. Edinburgh 2019. Yeah, that's 13,865. So exactly what I want to do. So that's basically it. Now let's assume my boss has come back to me and said, oh, wait. That's what I want you to do. Yes, you've done it. But then I want something else from you. What you've done for me would only give me the sales up to, will only give me the sales at a particular point in time. For example, you could see that I had the sales for a particular year, each of the years. And then my boss wants me to do something like given the sales for from 2017 down to 2019. For example, I want to do a sum of 2017 to 2019 sales, which is a total of 44K. I want to do a sum of 2018 to 2021 sales in between, like up to a particular point. How are we going to do this? Just watch back and see how we're going to go through this. So for this, I'll be using the offset match and we're combining the offset with the match function. So let's assume our boss has come back to us and like doesn't want us to do the sales in year. He wants us to see the sales up until a particular point in time. For example, he wants me to add up the sales from 2017 to 2019 and so on and so forth together to get one figure. So for this, I'm going to be combining some functions. So I'm going to combine the offset function with the match function just to get what we need. So how does this work? I'm going to go to ChatGPT to show you what the offset function is about. So I'm going to just go to ChatGPT and say, what is the offset function? So I've written here, what does the offset formula does in Excel? So it says the offset function in Excel returns a reference to a range that is specified as a specified number of rows and columns from a starting cell or range of cell. It is often used in the dynamic range definitions, allowing ranges to expand or contract based on certain criteria. So which means this formula is going to be what I want because it's going to give me a reference, the rows, the column, the height, and the width. This is going to be our best formula to look up to what we want to do. So how do we get started? I'm going to now say, so this is how the offset function actually works. So the offset function returns, it does like a reference. For example, if I say equals offsets, and I come and say, the first thing there is, it says the reference. I could reference, let's say the branch. I could reference the branch. And then it's asking me that what row do I want to start from? I want to start from the second row, the third row, the fourth row, the fifth row, the sixth row. I could actually specify to Excel the row I want the offset function to start from. So I don't want to put a comma here. I could say I want to start from, let's say, the second row, for example. I'll put 2. After the second row, then what column do I want to start from? The second row, is it on the first column or the second column or the third column? I probably want the third column, so or the second column. Let's just say I want to start from the third column. I could say the third column, and then what height do I want to specify? This is not compulsory, but because of what I want to do, I need to specify the height I want. So I could say I want to specify like 5 heights and then 4 widths, or 4 heights and then 5 widths. So I'll do 4 heights and 5 widths. And then I'm going to close my brackets and then hit enter. So if you could see now, I've started from the second row. So the second row, if you look at 17,858 is actually on the second row, which is after I have my first row, I have my second row, then I have this, which is 1, 2. So I have 1, 2, and then I have it here. So if you look at it in 2021, I've got my rows. I have my cursor because I have my cursor at the branch as a reference point. So the A3 is where I have my cursor, which is the reference point. So then I've told it to start from the second row, which is going to be 1, 2 row. So the second row, which is starting from, is this, and then it's starting from the column, which is, so it's starting from the third column, which is 1, 2. So as you can see, the reference using the A3, the reference is the branch. Let's just drill into this and see how this works. So I'm going to come in and say equals offsets as my function. Then what's my reference? I'm going to be referencing the A3, which is the branch, because that's my starting point of it all. So I'm going to be referencing the A3, which is the branch. That's my starting point of it all. So then I'm not going to do like, it's asking me now for the rows. I don't know what the row is, so I can't just specify the row. So I need to do like an XMatch or a match function just to bring in the row. So now I could be using the XMatch, for example. So I'll say XMatch. So it's told me now what is the lookup value. The lookup value I want to bring in here is my lookup value for, so I'm going to like to lock that in function F4. I have an absolute reference because I don't want that to move. The lookup array is basically what I'm looking for, which is the branches under it. So I'm going to come under the branches, the list of branches, and then just highlight all of them, and then just lock it also using my function F4, because I don't want any hassles on that. So then, do I want an exact match? Yes, which is 0. And I like to just close my Xlookup formula, close my X match formula, and then put a comma. Then I go back to the offset formula. The offset formula now comes and say, what's the column I want to specify? Well, I wouldn't want it to move more than a column now, because I wouldn't know what I want to search for. So I'll just tell it to move by just one column. Then similarly for the height, I wouldn't want it to go more than one height, because I wouldn't want it to go up to 3 or 4 heights. So I'll just put one height here for that. Then as for the width, how do I want it to go? How far do I want it to go? So I need to specify this. So I could do this also by putting in an X match formula. So I'll just do an X match on this. So, and this X match now, I'll say, what is the lookup value at this point? The lookup value is going to be the year I wanted the year on. So I'll click on the 2021, which I've put in here using the data validation. I'll do function and F4 to do an absolute referencing and put in a comma. Then what is the lookup array? The lookup array basically here is going to be the date from 2017 to 2024. That's my lookup array. I'm going to do absolute referencing. I'm going to lock it using an F4. Then it's asked me that what is the match mode. I want an exact match for this also. Then after that, that's it. It's done. Oh, that's spewed. So now you could come across the challenge and have it to spew like this. We need to add it into a sum function. So for us to do this, to get our boss impressed, we need to put in the sum function to make it work properly. So let's go back to our formula and then put in the sum function. So I'll say equals from the beginning. I'm going to wrap it in the sum. Equals sum. I'm going to open my bracket. I'm going to go back to the ending of this. I'm going to close it properly with the last bracket. And then once I hit enter, we could see the sales. So for Aberdeen, for 2021, so we could see the sales from 2017 to 2021, so which is exactly the same thing. If you go back down to look at the sum figure on the Excel sheet, you see that it's exactly the same thing that we specified. So let's say I want to test and I just say equals sum, and I said for Aberdeen 2021, and I go in there to say to sum all this to 2021. It's going to give me the same figure, which is 65k. So that means our formula is correct. So if I change this from Aberdeen to let's say Nottingham, and I change it to let's say 2020, let's say 2018, Nottingham 2018. So if I go to Nottingham, it's going to be, that's it, it's going to be 30k, 30,677. So if I go back to my sum function and I just go back and I do this from Nottingham for just these two, it's going to give me 30k. So which means our formula is correct. How have you found this formula? How have you found the sum, the offset and match? Does it look complex? Does it look easy to use? Just let me know in the notification box. Write a comment to let me know what you feel, what you think about the formula, if you think it's easier to use, because I've tried to do this basically with the Xlookup. Xlookup cannot do this. So the Xlookup is very good, but the Xlookup cannot go about to do this. So but I think the offset sum and the XMatch function will do this right for you. So go on, do this for your boss, get your boss impressed, and then get that promotion you deserve. Cheers. Thanks for watching this channel. Have a lovely day. Bye.